quit reading Trisha's thing.
Yeah, that's actually what I wanted to talk about for a minute at the beginning, whenever there's a good chance.
Okay, great. All righty, so we'll go ahead and get started. You're going to put the agenda up?
Yep.
I have a disclaimer. I haven't ran a board meeting or any kind of meeting like this in a long time. I run lots of meetings, but it's okay because Kim's going to tell me if I forget something.
You got this, Denise.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
All
Here we
right. You're good to go.
So I am going to call this meeting to order, starting with our roll call. So when I call your name, just say if you're here. Tisha Clark.
Present.
Trisha Graham.
Present.
Blake Graham Emert.
Present.
Did I say that right?
Emmert.
Emmert.
Yes.
Keisha Jackson. Linda Lawback.
Present.
Emma Burnett. Oh, wait. Kiwi Latati.
Present.
Emma Burnett. Okay. Sorry, I had to write these names down. Kiwi. Okay. Lisa Corrales. Olivia Duran.
Present.
Celine Jordan. Emily Middlestetter. Daphne Moretta. Kim Pike and Trisha Schroeder.
Here.
All right, thank you guys. And then do I do the other people? Yeah, okay, there we are. Administration, Denise Burchett here. Tamara Campbell.
Present.
Adam Cornish.
I'm here.
Kimberly Tamumbing.
Here.
Yay. Now can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That's something you never forget how to say, huh? Okay. Now I'd like to get approval of the agenda. Can I have someone?
I move to approve the agenda.
Thank you. We need a second.
I second it.
Perfect. Okay. Do I go through everybody again, Kim?
Yes, you need to roll call.
Roll call them again. Okay. Tisha Clark, how do you vote? I'm sorry. Trisha.
Yes.
Sorry. Blake.
Yes.
Linda.
Yes.
Kiwi.
Yes.
Olivia.
Yes.
And Trisha Schroeder.
Yes.
You know why I did that is because I wrote your names down, but I didn't write all the last names down. Okay. Now I'd like to get approval of the minutes from the meeting on April 12th, 2022.
I move to approve the minutes from April 2022.
I second.
Thank you. Tisha, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trisha,
I.
Blake,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
Kiwi,
Aye.
Olivia,
Aye.
and Trisha Schroeder.
Aye.
Thank you. Now, are there any communications from the public on anything that's on our agenda?
We don't have anyone that has submitted a request to speak.
Okay, great. Thank you. So the report and communication to the council from me. Well, there's a lot happening. It's the end of the year, and we were just talking about it before we went live, how I think, everybody looks forward to the end of the year, and there's so many activities going on, but I think, we're all excited for next week because that's when our high school graduation, all three of them happen. So on Tuesday, we have the Santa Clarita graduation. Then Wednesday will be the Antelope Valley graduation. And then Thursday will be the graduation in the Redlands area. So that's always just the highlight of everyone's year, of course. And, our teachers come out and they cheer for their students, and, we're all there to support and cheer for our students. So it's just a great time. And I look forward to it. And this year, our 3 RDs, each of them are the keynote speakers for our graduations. And so I'm really excited to hear what they have for us in their speeches. And for me and my team, our admin team, we're, busy planning for next year. And it all just comes so fast, trying to figure out different things that we're going to plan for the school. So that's about all I have for you guys today. So thank you. Okay. So we will move on to the information, discussion, and action agenda. So the 3 agenda items are all for review and discussion. Nothing has to be approved at this time. So we're going to start with a review and discussion of the UPK grant, Universal. Wait, I gotta screen share. Universal Pre-Kindergarten. It's a grant, and it's called a UPK grant. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. I'm not seeing it for some reason. Okay, desktop share. I don't know. Can you guys see that?
No.
Okay, it's not working.
Did you click the share screen and then choose which desk? Are you just using your laptop, or
Yep.
do you have an extra screen?
I'm just using my laptop.
Okay, when you click screen share, it should ask if you want to share your desktop view, and the lower right hand corner, you have to click OK.
Share. It says allow Zoom to share your screen. Open system preferences, security, and privacy to grant access.
That's what it did to
Okay.
me. I had to do an update this morning and it did the same thing to me, Denise. So I'm not
So
sure.
Yeah, it reset your privacy. What it did is it reset your privacy, Denise, for Zoom. So your share is not set up to share. You can click OK and go into your settings, but you'll have to log out of Zoom and log back in.
Okay, I'm not going to do that. I can talk this through very easily. And really, I was just going to talk it through, but I was going to, show them the different things that we would be working on. So the Universal Pre-Kindergarten Grant Plan, it actually, the grant money may be used for, you're going to hear this, the California State Preschool Program, CSPP, but we don't have that. So we won't use it for that. And then, or it can be used for TK and kinder programs. So it says it may be used for those programs. So it can also be used for your elementary grade programs. But with this grant, we do want to focus on our TK and kindergarten programs. So the uses, the things we can use it for, planning, the cost of planning for the program, upgrading the program. We could use it for hiring. If we needed to hire, we could use it for staff training, professional development, materials, supplies, and curriculum, things like that. So my purpose here today is to let you know about this grant plan. I'm going to be applying for it. Just to kind of brainstorm with this group, any ideas that you might have where, you think that we can use this funds towards, making our TK and kindergarten programs better. In this money for we're a public school, for brick and mortar schools, that's what we call the school where you classroom based brick and mortar. They have to decide if they're going to use this for a full TK or kindergarten program full day. So most of these TK and kindergartens are half day, right? So they have to decide if they're going to use it for a full day. I kind of don't think that would even apply to us because, our parents can do all day with their TK and kinders. It's up to them, how full of a day they're going to have. For the most part, I think, and you guys who are teachers on here, we do a half day for TK and kinder. Is that true? Yeah. So it just any thoughts on in your experience of ways that we can help improve the programs for our TK and kinders? I think Eileen, did you have something? You're muted.
There we go. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Sorry. Literacy is my interest. And when you're talking about TK and kinder, anything that we can do to help promote literacy, emergency as far as reading, and especially TK, getting parents to really understand the power of read aloud. That's the first thing that comes to mind at that level. It's a really simple thing. So that's one thought that,
You
prepared to present on that jumps to my head,
Well, I knew you would have some ideas because that's one of your specialties, right? Is literacy and reading.
Early literacy is, yes.
Yeah.
So, and it's just, if we get them early, we don't want them to get students to be behind. It just makes a huge difference keeping them out of specialized programs they don't necessarily need to be in. So if we catch them early and get them going with a really solid foundation, but strong literacy programs and read aloud, shared reading, interactive writing. Those are some all really good things that come to mind for TK.
Okay, thank you. And if you think of anything, you can always email me too.
I have a suggestion.
Yes.
Just regarding staff wise, because I've worked at this level before. If at all possible, I would try to hire staff that has as much education in child development as possible, ideally a bachelor's in child development. If not, then just, as much up to that as possible or beyond. But yeah, I think that's important that they have that for the staff.
Yeah, and I think you're exactly right because I did read on this grant for how the brick and mortars are being required for classroom based, and their teachers do have to have the child development component in their credential. And so you're right on with what you said. Now, the thing about independent study and our charter school, we don't always get required for these things, for these special type of credentials, but it is something that we do want to make sure we have. So I'm glad you brought that up. Anything else?
I will kind of echo what Tamara just put in the comment about professional development for PLTs and early literacy strategies. It seems that if we're looking at what's really important for the very early grades, since we will probably have, unless we're going to change the sort of PLT roster system for this first grade, I don't know if we're talking about doing that, but let's assume the same kind of structure that we currently have. We'll have PLTs that are picking up students that are just a year younger. But the staff who are working with those students at resource centers, it might be where we are looking to hire the folks that Tricia is talking about, the folks that are really about the childhood development, providing that direct support. Professional development for PLTs for the early literacy, and I would say another candidate for this would be some direct parent training. If we're getting families in for the first time with really young kids, I mean, it's an opportunity to start teaching parents how to do this early on with their youngest kiddos. And for families who already have kids in the program, it's a chance to sort of piggyback on this grant and say, okay, well, we're going to provide that additional actual training to parents in how to do the day-to-day work and stuff. Those are my thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's good. And then I like that. I wrote that down. And then TK and K parent seminar half-day workshops. That's good too. Good. This is good. I can write these all into our plan. Who else?
I think it might be helpful to have professional development for PLTs on curriculum options for those grade levels that specialize in literacy and development. Because I think a lot of teachers may not be comfortable with knowing all the resources that might be available for that important, age group for that task.
That's good. And maybe we need to take a look at our box sets for those two grades and see if we need to see what we can upgrade in there and make changes to. Make it a more of a specialized box set. I like that too. And then Eileen, since I don't know if you have ideas for curriculum, but if you do, please, or any of you, if you have ideas for good, really good curriculum, send it my way.
I know we have a book fair at AVRC, so I think those kinds of things are a great way to encourage reading and family reading. I think do you guys have a book fair in Santa Clarita, Tricia, and Redlands? I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll usually do it at the beginning of the year. Things have been a little different with COVID, but we should be getting back to that now.
So that'd be fun. And then I was thinking too, it might be and this is just based on, staffing and all of that, but it might be kind of cool to have a library where at each resource center, like somewhere where parents can check out books or kids can check out books, or even like a reading space. I don't know.
Novels.
That's actually, yes, that's what I was just thinking. All these consumables, let's put them at the
Yes.
resource centers to be checked out.
Yeah.
I'm laughing because I was at the PLT meeting with Olivia yesterday, and we got on the topic of the novels becoming consumables. They were not happy. The teachers are not happy. They're not consumables. And I totally agree with them. So I love that idea. Let's do that this year. We can talk to Ethan and, you guys who have the resource centers that you're overseeing, maybe you can talk to the supervisors and see if there's an area where we can set up the library.
Yes. Tisha, when you were mentioning that, Blake was like, ooh, yes. Like he loves that idea to have a library at the resource center that kids can check out whatever books they want. That is an excellent idea. So thank you for that.
Yeah, that sounds good. Kids love to go. Well, we all love to go in libraries, but kids love to go in libraries too. And, make it nice and inviting and, oh gosh, I could just see, I don't know. We don't have a lot of room in some of the places, but a little area where you could actually sit down and kind of look at the books. Anyways, I will let the RDs work on that with the resource centers. And then we'll talk to Ethan about giving us all those books back. The only thing I was just thinking though, we'll have to figure this out because you might will you need someone to staff it, like a kind of a librarian type person to?
Ooh, I have another idea. There's going to be next year at the resource center, there's going to be a period where they're having I can't think of what it's called. It's basically called Store, I think, where Jose is going to be working with the kids to like, count the money, like give out the snacks, accept payment, like kind of learn a little business skills like that. So maybe there could be a period where students also run the library, checking books in, checking them out. I think that would be great for their entrepreneurship skills.
Oh, I love that idea. Yeah, that is a great idea. I love hearing that he's gonna do the little store too, where the students can come and learn how to run the store. It's really
Yes.
valuable. Okay, I like that. Thank you. Great ideas.
Denise, I put in the chat, we talked about it throughout the year at the seminars, just like often would bring up like audiobooks and have discussions with parents. So for like the little ones, like having a subscription where they can, I don't know, like some are free and some you have to pay a subscription. So maybe getting an interest from our TKK parents on audiobooks, that they could use and even use on their students' Chromebooks, something like that might be able to be a usable thing for the grant money. So
Yeah.
You know
no,
what? There's a website called, what's it called? Epic or
Epic.
Get Epic? I don't know. Something about that. They have audiobooks for the younger ones. Teachers can have an account and then they can allow their students to go on and then they kind of rack up points as they read. But there's audiobooks too that the younger ones can listen to. So that's a good website if people don't know about it yet.
Is it free?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think
Because
so.
I think when Blake has gone on there, his teachers have had an account, but then it's free for us. Once the teacher has an account, they can set up for all the students and then the students can go on for free, but I'm not sure how much the teacher account is.
Teacher accounts are free. We use it for Title I.
Oh.
During COVID, it was really cool because it was open 24/7, 7 days a week. They opened it up, but now what they've done is they've returned it back to a school hours type of setup. So it's Monday through Friday from like 8 to 4, students are allowed on to read the books. And I think they've even limited the number of books. It used to be pretty wide ranging. I'm a huge Epic, Tamara knows, Epic book person. I used it as a Title I academic coach last year all the time. So yeah, it's a great website. But and it would be wonderful to even do a little workshop showing parents how to tap in and utilize how to use Epic with their TKs. So
Great. I like that. Have to check into that. It would be nice if we had parents like Trisha doing like
What am I doing?
I know, I'm totally like well, what if we had a parent like Trisha do a video and like a video explaining something like Epic and how amazing it is and just kind of a promo type thing, or even show how it works that we could actually put on Parent Square.
Blake said he could help me record it.
So Blake will record it and you'll do it,
Or he could probably do the whole thing even.
right?
This
Well,
kid
think
loves
about
tech.
that.
Okay.
Could be your summer project. Think about it.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be great. I think parents really like to hear from parents. They hear from us all the time, but then when they hear from parents, that there's that connection there. It's powerful. Okay, any others? Any other ideas, comments? Linda, how many TK and Ks do you have?
I have no TKs. I just had one kindergartner this year.
Okay.
I have mostly middle school and high school this year,
Do you? Okay.
which is weird because normally it's the opposite.
Yeah, well, maybe they're all growing up and that's why.
Yes, but as you guys were talking about it and talking about early literacy, I was thinking too, one of the things that I'm seeing a lot of, even my older kids, 5th, 6th graders, a lot of their errors in reading comes from basic phonics that they've missed. Basic phonics skills that go back to kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade. I mean, I think that focusing on phonics and how letters go together and the sounds they make, you know, if we narrow it down, having some sort of phonics workshop, or for my kindergartner, I actually got hooked on phonics for them for this summer. They had asked about it to have something to do during the summer, and it was very reasonable. It wasn't that expensive, and the mom really likes it. It has everything in the kit, it's helping her daughter solidify her reading skills, and it has like little stickers and stuff inside the packet included, but it was really beneficial. So
Oh. Okay.
Also, next year, Mrs. Covell is going to be offering a daily grammar class on the VRC. And I think that's new. So maybe PLTs can mention that to their parents also. And she's going to be doing, I think, several different levels of it.
Great. Is that true, Adam? You know about that?
Spacebar didn't work. Yes. Yes, that's true. I know about that.
Great. I know Lisa Covell is so wonderful. I just love her. Okay. I love you all. Okay. Kiwi, I was going to ask you if you had any TK or kinders.
I do, and I'm trying to think if there's anything that they've requested or said throughout the year to add, but I know that a couple of parents have asked for subscriptions, and I'm trying to remember through, I think it was Amazon for younger kids for reading, like I'm just not sure if it's online or not, or actual physical products. But I can look into it. I know that Amazon does offer, subscriptions to younger kids.
Great, Kiwi. So yeah, if you want to just maybe look into any of those kind of resources and share, with me and or with the whole team, that'd be great.
Sure.
Okay, is that pretty much it? Did we get all the ideas? Okay, so the UPK grant plan, it doesn't have to be approved and it doesn't have to be board approved. It just has to be presented to the board. So that's what I'm going to do probably on the 9th. I'll present it to the board. So I won't bring it back to the advisory council. This was just to get feedback and ideas. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. The next, I don't know what the next item is. I need the agenda up.
Federal addendum.
You're next, Tamara? Okay,
Yeah.
next up is Tamara Campbell with the federal addendum.
Thank you, Denise. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. And I like the screensavers that people have. It's always fun to see those. But okay, so I wanted to ask too, just out of respect for time, people's time, I have my activity. I try to make it as condensed as possible because I tend to be like real wordy, but I did condense it into a short activity. And what I'm thinking is we have 30 minutes, right? And Adam still needs to do his part on the LCAP. So I'm going to give a quick overview about the federal addendum, go into the activity, and if somebody can watch the time for me, let's try to do it in 15 minutes, and then Adam can have the last 15 minutes. Is that okay? And then if there's additional feedback that you have, I'll share this activity page with you, and you can write any feedback you have, you can write into the actual document after. So with that, I'll go ahead. I'm going to share my screen. I had the whole update thing too happen, but I think Eileen helped me work through that. So I think we're good to go. So, okay. All right. get all this out of the way here. So let me go ahead and, and if you have questions along the way, just let me know. Let's go back up to the top. So this is what the LCAP federal addendum looks like. You all got a copy. Kim sent that out. Thank you, Kim, last week. So you would have an opportunity to look through it. So if you have questions about it, it's pretty lengthy. It's similar to the LCAP. This addresses the supplemental funds that we get for our federal programs. So for Title I and Title II, we don't receive Title III. We don't qualify for Title III, which is EL grant money from the government. And also everybody can see my screen, right? Okay, is it good? So what I did was I took each part of the federal addendum, and there's provisions that schools have to meet. And charters, it's a little bit different. Some of the things don't apply to us. So if I don't touch every single thing that's on here, and you will see provisions, if it says NA next to it, it's something that charters don't have to legally address. So you'll see that. And if we do have to address it, then you'll see these blue portions that have been written in, where I collected information from everybody. And then this document was submitted to the state and approved in unlike the LCAP that Adam works on, this is a one-time thing. So I am grateful for that. I know it's a lot of work doing the LCAP. The federal addendum piece, you have to only get it approved once by the state, which is nice, but we do have to review it each year and go over it, make sure we're still meeting all these things. So anyways, with that, I'm going to go to my document that I put together for today. And what I did was I just took the three title programs that we have to address. So Title I, and then Title II and Title IV. So each provision is here, just the overarching topic. And then I pulled out of the addendum the activities that we're doing that we say in the addendum that we're doing, right? So, things change over time. When I did this, when the federal addendum first went to the state, it was all like pre-COVID. There's a lot of things that have changed. Procedures and safety things, and lots of things have come up. So our job is to look at what we have in the addendum and then decide, is that something we're continuing on, or are we modifying it? And so what I want to do today is just get some feedback on these specific things and any suggestions that you have. And I hope we can do it. I don't know how we're going to do it in 15 minutes, but we're going to do our best. So let's start with Title I. And Eileen Master, our Title I coordinator, is with us today. So if you have any questions for her, something comes up, she can also bring some light to the situation. So in the addendum for Title I, and both of our charters are both targeted assistance. So students have to qualify, for our program. So all these activities that we have listed are a part of our Title I piece. So we have parent handbook, surveys, advisory council. So this is the list of things that we have listed. I looked through, I did share this with the RDs and Denise to look through to see on Title II if there was anything missing. And then after today's meeting, I'm also going to be sending this out, to our teachers and having a survey done with our parents to get feedback. Like, are they satisfied with the program? We're also looking at data to determine the way we're using the funds. Is it effective? Are the students growing? So we do have an ongoing progress monitoring tool in place. And we had it in the past, but it was very time consuming, but our data managers help immensely with being able to get it done more quickly. So these are all the activities that we're doing right now. Specifically for our students, the majority of the funding goes towards the supplemental instruction. So I know some of you had some time to look through the federal addendum. If there's any feedback or, review, evaluatory like comments on this, now's the time to kind of just, chime in and say, these are, I looked through the few things that I was thinking of that we need to work on a little bit is, local, like just local updates. How often are we updating? And I know I get super busy and I need to update, the community, the school community more often. So I definitely, want to make an improvement on that. So any thoughts or feedbacks on this?
Yeah, Tamara, what you were saying about, doing the updates from like the directors and the supervisors and like putting them on Parent Square, that's very helpful and appreciated by us parents because it really keeps us, up to date on the information. Like when there was some confusion and questions about, okay, how many tests are there going to be for our kids this year? And when are they going to happen? And what are they for? And then from all those questions and feedback, you made that document, describing each test, when the timeline is going to be, what it's for, what grades it's for, everything, and put that on Parent Square. That was really appreciated. So anything like that directors or supervisors can do to keep us updated is really helpful.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
If no one else is going to mention anything, I also have, right? I'm like, I don't want to.
I know, it's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And if we don't get through, because I do want to talk about Title I, Title II also a little bit, but yeah, give me your feedback. And then whatever else that any of you have, we can share this and work on this after today's meeting as well.
Okay. Yeah, I looked also what you were mentioning about, some things kind of maybe some of the programs and resources might have got sort of put to the side during COVID and stuff, and we need to bring them back, like parent volunteers in the classrooms at the RCs and like the school nutrition programs, things like that we need to kind of bring back also. I think you're aware, to like look for those things that need to come back.
Okay. Okay.
So I don't think we ever had volunteer programs at the resource centers. I know that it's a process that needs to be vetted through HR for background checks and that kind of thing. Like we don't want to obviously just let any parent on campus. So I know there's a packet that that Terry worked on with Mark. So that's something, but then I'm not sure, what do you mean nutrition programs? What does that mean?
Oh, twice in the addendum, it mentioned school nutrition programs and us having those for, I believe it's for students that qualify, but we don't currently have that as far as I know. I know for a short period of time we did, but we don't currently. So that whole program.
You mean like meals being offered at the resource center?
Yes.
Okay,
Wasn't that
that should be happening
vending.
still.
the vending machine?
Yeah, the vending machine is not, we're not doing that this year, but I know that we're still offering meals. So if that's something that's not happening.
So
I
as
need
far
to
as I
know.
yeah, as far as I know, it's not happening.
Yeah, the vending machine isn't filled and
No,
Yeah.
she's saying they're not doing that anymore,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's
The-
happening at all currently. If it is, I know parents aren't aware of it.
Yeah.
I will say that. So if it's happening, we need to be aware. If it's not happening, then bring it back.
Yeah, okay.
Is that the maybe we need to relook at it and see if we need to change like the wording in the addendum about different programs and things that we're offering. Maybe we just need to look at that at the leadership level and see how we need to update that if the wording is because like I said, we did write this in 18. So this was all the information we pulled together. So that's why we're looking at it to see what still exists. If something is changing or it's done differently, then we may just need to reword something. So we can definitely take a look at that. I did put that under down here at the bottom, those 2 points, but thank you.
And then another thing that I noticed was in the addendum was the online programs that students are able to use.
Mhm.
And I know like schools, PLP is one of them, which is basically just an online textbook. So we would like to suggest that there be more options maybe for us. I know we're not currently using Acellus, but like the Acellus program, how it had like video teachers, video instruction from actual teachers, and then the quizzes and tests after that. So something like that for an option would be appreciated to add in also.
I did double check that, and schools PLP and Edmentum is listed. And yeah, no, I know we can't use Acellus. How do I I'm sorry, this is a tech question. How do I get rid of this bar right there? I don't like that thing. Yeah. I know with like Edmentum, they do have on Edmentum the videos and things like that you're talking about in other resources, but I know it's the price of it is much greater.
Schools PLP actually does have some videos, just not as much as Acellus by any means, but we actually are switching our TK through 5th grade over to their Lincoln Learning courses within Schools PLP, which has a little bit more video support and a little bit less textbook like. So we're hoping that's a good change.
Yeah, I'm sure that sounds good for the elementary, but maybe more options for middle school and high school also would be good.
Yeah, we'd have to try to, we did a group that with our SCTs and our PLTs to try to find additional options that had strong video lesson support. We have not come across a great option, a better option yet. We have been trying, and that's been a challenge for us for sure.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate you trying, and anybody who's listening, if they want to research and somehow somebody comes up, finds an option, we would definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, we can look into that.
I'm running, I appreciate all the ideas. How are we with, I know at time wise, it's an hour is not enough time.
Yeah. Well, I was just
So-
asking if I thought we had an hour and a half, but I guess we advertised it for.
Is it,
If
yeah,
you guys are okay, we can decide to go longer. I mean, if we want to go over, but is there anybody here who cannot stay past 5?
I can, I think, like the Title 2 part won't take that long. I think Adam, are you okay with this going just a bit longer?
I assumed it would go until 5:30.
Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, great. I'm gonna take a little bit longer then. So on Title 1, like I was mentioning, we're also gonna do a parent survey to get satisfaction feedback from the parents on how things are going. We're also going to be looking and sending to the teachers to be able to share with the families the progress that the students made throughout the year. The goal hopefully will be for next year is that that tool that we're using will be like mid-year and end of the year instead of just end of the year for the parents. So that's something we're working towards. Once, I think maybe next year when we get to that place, then we can add that to the addendum as one of our strategies. So I think pretty much everything on the list in the addendum looks like we're doing. If there's anything that the council would like to see a focus on for Title I, please add it in, or you could talk about it now, or we could add it in to look into further. So if there's any other suggestions, our students that are getting the instructional support the majority of the students are making significant progress each year. So it's super exciting. It is a minimal amount of time that they have with the support staff, but it does make an impact. It for sure makes an impact. So we are going to carefully look at those pieces, the data, to look and see. Eileen and I are looking at that all the time, and the coaches, and we're communicating with Thrive, our vendor, on student progress. And so we make changes through the year also, just so you know, like if a coach or a tutor isn't working and a student isn't making progress with that person, with that support staff, we do make changes in assignment so that the student is making growth. So there's a lot of internal things that we're using to make sure that we're using the money wisely, and that we're, our goal is that the student outcomes, that they're going to make improvement in their achievement with their testing and getting on grade level. So it's exciting. And Eileen, this was her first year as Title I coordinator. She really stepped in and has been doing a lot of trainings with our team. And so that's exciting as well.
I do want to throw in there that,
yeah, go ahead.
Eileen, you've got to be doing something, because this year has been pretty fantastic as far as the way the Title I is working. And historically, I mean, this has always kind of been, this service has always kind of been one of the most impactful, like, single services that the school offers in terms of measurable outcomes for students. And it makes sense to me for the investment of the program to be focused on the provision of the service on FaceTime with kids, because that seems to be what delivers those results. And in past years, we've experienced sort of like, it takes a while to get the tutoring to the kid. And this year, like, that has not been an issue. It hasn't been something that's come across my desk at all, that anybody's waiting for any services. It's like the services are there, they're impactful. So I think that's a successful part of the program. And if we're looking for ways to make sure that the financial resources are pointing in the right direction, as much as is necessary, as much as we can get away with, really, for providing the service itself, is my view.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
So are parents notified, like, if their student, so is this based on the testing results? And then if their student is like below grade level, are the parents automatically then notified so that they know they qualify for these extra supports? Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah. So they, because we've been missing the state testing the last 2 years, we administered. So if a student was below grade level on the iReady, then we made it available for students to take the interim assessment so that they could qualify for Title I support. And then Eileen goes through a process of qualifying them based on their assessment scores. So I do send out, that's one thing I do every year at the beginning of the year. I send out a parent square to all parents about Title I and the procedure, like what we do to qualify students. So it's a lengthy process. Like, honestly, I agree with Adam. This year, it still didn't go as quick as we hoped, but it's next year. We're super excited because we think with the state test scores and end of year iReady, we'll be able to even get up and going even sooner Our struggle is, are we going to have, because Eileen and I worked on this yesterday, are we going to have the resources to be able to start early and go all the way through the year without running out of money? So that's the question. So yeah, it's so beneficial. So we'll see. It will be something, during budget discussion, can we put money towards that to see if we can continue it through the whole year. So
I think,
it's-
and this is just my opinion, but I think that if we had to choose between providing services for like 2 months earlier versus providing services during April, May, or May, June,
Yeah.
those 2 months earlier would be
Yes.
preferable, right? So to keep
Yes.
things going this school year, that's the busiest time, the last 2 months of school year. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday. I think that's the best way. The sooner we can get it going and get on top of where the kids are struggling, that's the most important for sure. So no, thank you for that feedback. Appreciate that. So. Okay, so homeless children and youth services is addressed through Title I. This has been an ongoing, growing program for both of our charters. So this is a list of activities that are listed in the federal addendum. I think the only one I reached out to Adam to earlier is just making sure, and I'll make sure to follow up with the LCAP on that about having a goal that addresses specifically the needs of homeless. So it's addressed through Title I funds, but then it also has to be in the LCAP. So I'll work with the team on that. And then this just gives a list of activities. Everything on here we're currently doing. One of the things is Kathleen Kramer, our homeless liaison. She's going to be working with Kim Tumumbing on the website to really start developing that. So that actually is something we should have updated that last year. And I don't know, I guess it's one of those lists of things to do. And so we are getting that done. So that's what I'm actually going to highlight that one. So the website, that's definitely needs improvement. What we do right now is there's a sheet that we post at all the resource centers with the contact information of the liaison. But now it's on a page on the website. So we're going to be adding resources there. But what we do is when our homeless families, when we get in touch with them, the liaison gives them all the resources, but we're going to be taking it another step further and developing resources on our website. So that's a definite area of improvement and that we need to make. And all of these things are transportation. We had some situations just in the last month where we teamed up with special ed even, and our director of special ed came in and also helped with transportation for some of our homeless families. So it's really breaking down barriers so that our homeless families have access to the same educational experience that non-homeless students have. I know one thing for me too is the board being updated annually. I need to make a point to, I think Denise, I've been giving you a federal update and then you've been putting it in your report, right? To the board. Yeah.
Yeah.
So any feedback on this? I'm not sure if everybody's aware of everything, what's going on with this. A lot of obviously behind the scenes type things happen with this program, but there is a special reservation of funds in Title I that goes towards homeless. So I'm working with admin on just making sure that, we're just meeting our obligation and making sure that our homeless families are taken care of. So we really honestly are going really above and beyond what typical schools do. So, we just had a recent meeting with the county, the liaison and myself, and they're really just super excited that we're kind of leading the way with this, with charter schools. So it's exciting. It's a passion, definitely, for both Kathleen and I. So any feedback on this? If you don't think of anything right now, let me know and I can add it in. I don't see any major changes or anything that we need to make to the addendum. This is just, all these things are legal obligations of the schools that we need to be doing. So,
Great.
yeah. Okay.
Great. Thank you, Tamara. Very good. Again, if anybody has any other thoughts, they can email Tamara and
Look over just really quick before Adam goes, because I know he needs 30 minutes too. Title II, everything's listed here. If you have feedback, please put it in the council review evaluation. I'll email this out to all of you here shortly. Am I turning it over now?
oh, yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Tamara. And now
Okay.
we're going to turn it over to Mr. Adam Cornish to talk to us about the LCAP. Oh, I have to plug my laptop in too, or I'm gonna lose y'all.
So I'll start by saying I'm disappointed. I thought earlier in this year that by this meeting, we'd be reviewing and approving a completed LCAP, and it just has not worked out that way. So we are where we are today is there are now 2 draft LCAPs in the works. I don't think you guys have seen those yet. So I'm going to be asking the council for another meeting before the end of the year for the purpose of really seeing the whole thing put together and approving it. That would be after you've had a week to read it, get it to you, let you read it for a week, and then meet, and we can decide whether the advisory council is approving of these 2 documents. But what we can do right now, we've had so Tricia sent in some additional feedback regarding goal 2. We've had our discussion at the last meeting about the way that the goals focused on what really was important in those areas. Goal 1, I think, unless there's more feedback from other members of the council, looks like it's been adjusted and revised so that it's effectively worded, and the same with goal 3. But I'm going to pull up the same. I'm going to share the same document on the screen with you guys that we did last time to go back over goal 2 and focus on the parent piece. We were just talking a little bit about that with how parents can be notified of things that are going on. So that's going to be, I want to nail that part down in the discussion, really get a solid consensus on what that goal needs to be doing, because it's special. It's the focus goal. There's 3 goals in the LCAP, but it's the one that has the narrowest scope, and it's really intended to be really focused on one very particular issue. While the first goal is about keeping everything running, and then the third goal is about improving all kinds of different student outcomes. This one is just the partnership with parents and how are we doing what we're doing to make sure that that's successful. So I will share that doc. Actually, you know what I will do first? Sorry. So that I'm not looking off into the corner while having a conversation with you guys. It's Zoom manners here. So I will share this one right here. Okay. So backing up a little bit, the goal on the left in the black font is where we are with the 2021-22 LCAP. In the blue font is how we left it last time we talked about it. And where we are going with it now is let's talk about what I'm gonna summarize some of the feedback. Just let me know if I'm getting this wrong, but I think that the way that this goal is written now, we have a bit of a gap between the actions and the outcomes. We are talking about increasing these opportunities, and we say that it's going to improve administrative decision making, but exactly how, like what's the secret sauce, what's the real connection between creating the opportunities and then ensuring that there's actual parent involvement and that involvement is meaningful, and that then the administrative decision making is improved, or the inclusiveness of the administrative decision making is improved, right? That's the dimension that we're focused on. So just one second, sorry. Yeah, so in this goal language itself, or in the subsequent actions, what should our LCAPs specifically address in terms of what promotes that parent involvement at each step of the decision-making process? And that's the open question for the group to discuss right now. So what should this goal include in terms of concrete action to include parents?
I just wanted to kick us off by saying that first part of it, GLC will increase opportunities for parent engagement and strengthening connections. I think that part is perfect. I don't know about everyone else, but I think that part is perfect. But yeah, what you're saying about the gap between that and then how to include parents, because I don't think that that necessarily means it, it might lead to including parents in the decision-making, but it doesn't necessarily. So I think maybe we should kind of have it as two parts or two sentences, but that first part of the up to strengthening connections, I think is great. But yeah, I don't know if anyone has other ideas on how to do that.
So Adam, I think we talked about surveys, right? On bigger decisions, maybe narrowing it down to 2 options and getting some parent input, just so we're not leaving it super open-ended. I think that makes sense. So surveying, and then we also talked about, I think I forwarded this to you as a suggestion, having it be part of the PLT role as well. So they have those really close connections with families. And so it can even be incorporated in monthly responsibility. So, this month we're collecting data for the LCAP, and we need you to talk over these things with your families and get their input, so, and then entering it in some kind of Google form or someplace where all that data can be gathered. So I think those kinds of, meaningful conversations can happen when PLTs meet with their families.
So I like that first part of what you said, Tisha, about the surveys. I think that's so important because those go directly onto Parent Square and then directly to the parents, and the parents can all see them and they can jump in and they can literally word for word write exactly what they would like the administrators to know. And I think that direct contact is so important. Sometimes I've noticed through PLTs, and it's not through any fault of their own, I'm not blaming any of them, but sometimes, information gets filtered. And, it's like the game of telephone. By the time it gets to the end, it's a totally different message. So that's why I think it's important to have, and maybe even include the word direct into this goal, like Gorman will directly include parents in the administrative decision-making, process, because that way parents can really feel like they're directly involved, and maybe not waiting until it gets to the end down to 2 choices. Maybe once administrators have an idea of, okay, we need ideas on this, maybe just put it out there like, parents, do you have any feedback on this, in a survey? And then parents can just write in what they think. And then from there, maybe it can get narrowed down. But I think that direct communication is really important to make parents feel like what we have to say is actually being heard.
I think that's a key component, is not just the act of gathering the input, But the relationship with the parents, in which we're demonstrating that the input is heard, that it's actually been part of the process. In previous surveys, I was curious about this. It's not on the most recent one, but I was curious about this in previous surveys. I asked the question, basically, like, have you participated in parent involvement efforts before? Have you been asked questions by the school before? And then rate how well you feel that the school did at including your input. And it was soft, right? Like there was a good number of people that said, yes, I've filled out surveys before, or yes, I've gone to these meetings before. But when we're doing these surveys, generally, like, it's safe to say that you're going to get 75% positive responses and the other 25% are neutral or negative for most things. And if something is really good, it's getting like 90% positive responses. If something is really weak, it's getting under 75. And that was one that got like 70, I think. Don't quote me on the numbers, but I remember looking at that going, oh, these are folks that like gave us the chance to get involved in some of these processes. And then when they saw what we did afterwards, they were like, I don't think they heard us. So like, that's a serious thing. And there's really two parts of that. One of them is, are we doing the things that our community is talking about? That's one part. And the other part of it is, are we, if we're not doing the things, or if we are doing the things, are we communicating what we're doing and what their input was into that? And I think that's an area where, just from my point of view, from as an administrator in the school, so I'll limit it to that perspective. As an administrator in the school, that's the area where I feel most improvement, where improvement would have the most impact, is not just doing the things that people are asking for, but being upfront about what we're doing, why we're doing it, why we're not doing things that are being asked for, not doing things that are really in demand, and just having those conversations and having those explanations be more available and public.
Yes, that's a great idea, Adam, because if parents feel like you're asking us, but you're not going to actually care, for lack of a better word, about what we're saying, then parents are going to stop talking, and then they're just going to get mad and go to another school. I mean, that's worst case scenario, but you know what I mean? Like the administrators who let us know that they really appreciate our feedback. For example, I'll just say it again, like Tamara, when she was getting feedback for the testing, and then she put the whole calendar and descriptions on Parent Square, like that was suggestions that she got, and then she did it because parents needed that information. So it's like, that seeing that direct connection between the feedback we give and then acting on it, or like you said, if it's not going to be acted on it, maybe explain why. Like, I think that's really helpful.
So I just want to ask one, or kind of say one thing. I know that specifically in Trisha's area, she's had PLTs express concern over the amount of information that's put out over Parent Square, and that they check out and they don't read everything because there's too much information. So I think we have like Trisha, who wants more information, right? She wants all the information she can get, and she's going to read it all, and she's going to, hear it, and she's going to act on it, and she's going to do what she's supposed to do with it. But not every parent is like that. So I do worry a little bit about overloading Parent Square information, or just, I don't know. And I'm not sure what the solution is to that, but I don't know that every parent is as involved as she is and like as committed and like she's bought in, right? She's, so I just, I don't know. I'm just going to throw it out there. I just think, some parents will welcome that and other parents won't. So I'm not sure exactly how we disseminate information to be sure that everybody's hearing it and to be sure that everybody wants it. I don't know. That's just,
Yeah.
You're correct, Tisha, because I know there are parents that are not. Yes, I like reading it for myself, and I like all of the information so that then I can decide, okay, what do I need for my child, my family? But I know there are parents who are like, really, I don't want to hear anything unless it's like the absolute necessity, and please filter it for me. So I do acknowledge that I am not like all parents. You know, there are some like me, there are some at the extreme other end, and then there's everybody in between. But that's why I think if you do put it on Parent Square, parents then have the option to filter it for themselves. Be like, okay, what's the topic? What's the subject line of this post? Okay, I don't really need to read that, so I'm going to skip. What's the subject line of this post? Ooh, that applies to my family, so I'm going to read every word of that. But I think if you put it on Parent Square, parents can filter it based on the subject line.
I wonder if we could create different groups where one is like, updates that aren't critical, and then others are critical updates. And then we send out information so parents know how to filter their options. So they can be part of the everyday updates, or, just kind of low level updates for those who want to be a part of those. And then the high level updates for parents who are really like, because I have heard that teachers are like, my parents had deleted the app because they were tired of the dings. They need to know how to choose the amount of information they receive in order to not be overloaded on their phone, and then completely opt out of all things, because there are important things that they need to have and need access to.
Well, you could even put it in the subject line. Like if the directors or supervisors think that something is critical for, all parents to read, you can even put in the subject line, critical info, and then what it's about. And then or even highlight it, star it, whatever you want to do. But if it's something like that, I think then parents will see it and be like, oh, I better read this. Whereas the rest of it, maybe they'll not even click on. But I believe there's an option, and somebody else might know this better. I haven't set mine up for quite a while. I just leave my settings how they are, but I don't get any dings. I get like a daily digest, but there are different settings. Yes, Adam. Yeah. There's like different settings where parents can actually do that in Parent Square. So maybe PLTs need to educate their families on how to do that.
I think Tamara, you've been waiting for a chance to jump in.
Thanks. I was like, I'm just excited that I have all these new tools on my Zoom that I didn't have before. So, I guess I have a lot of departments where, to me, from my perspective, I see I could be sending out tons of information that's critical, like every month. Like maybe instead of, can it be something like, and this is kind of directed for Trisha, our parent here today, is what if it was like, a monthly update or something that even like Denise could send with all the different departments that have like important updates for the month, right? Like September, testing, this is what's happening, resource centers, this is what's happening, kind of like an overview and like who to contact or something. If a parent wants to reach out to like me about testing, or if they want to reach out to Adam about, virtual resource center or academics or anything, and then the RCs and who to call, like, something like that. Would that be like a monthly, I don't know if I want to call it like a newsletter?
The monthly newsletter feature on Parent Square that she can implement for a monthly Gorman
Yeah.
News.
Would that be something that would be kind of like a happy medium where then we would have everything kind of listed out? Would that work? Instead of having all the directors like blasting out stuff all the time on different things.
Well,
I mean, I agree, like we need to communicate more or figure out a way to, because see, for me, I highly depend on the PLTs for everything, but there's certain things that legally I have to send on Parent Square, like notifications about Title I and testing, things like that.
Yeah.
So is a newsletter an option with that?
Are we talking about, so Tamara, for clarity on like what the suggestion is, are we talking about sort of like all the departments sort of funneling their stuff that they really want parents to be aware of, combining it into one package?
Yeah.
Because I think certainly the merit there is if it's made it into the newsletter, it's definitely important, right? Like it sort of makes it clear that this is the key stuff. It also means that we really, like, those of us who are kind of running by the seat of our pants, we've got to be out ahead of our stuff.
For sure.
We know that information is going to get to parents like 2, maybe 3 weeks after we start that process of like, oh, let's get this information. Parents got to go through the newsletter process, everything else,
Mhm.
which is, I think there's something to be said about that, where we're all working together on being clear about our communication. That I can see that being helpful.
Like having, I mean, in terms of like relating it back to the LCAP with, with this, getting parents more engaged in the decision-making process, is that going to bring us more feedback from the parents if we do something like that where it has the contact information for all of us? So I have for EL for Title I, we do have like what Trisha Schroeder was saying about having groups. So we have an EL parent group and we have an EL parent group for Parent Square. So like the coordinators can send out to the parents information that pertains specifically to the programs, like things that are happening or what's going on. But in terms of a network, if we did something like a monthly important events, dates, we need your feedback. You throw in a monthly LCAP survey with 2 questions. I mean, just something to spark. I mean, for me, I get it. Like, we deal with a lot of emails. So for parents having too much thrown at them all the time, I would just ignore it. Like sometimes, just say, okay, like some parents are going to just ignore it, but involving parents in I'm just thinking back to your goal here and trying to get the actual
Actually,
goal written.
so I do appreciate that focus on it. And since we're just down to the single digit minutes, trying to sort of synthesize, get to what's the common feature of the sort of stuff in the middle.
Adam,
go ahead, jump in.
Just one last thing. A lot of my parents have unsubscribed from Parent Square notifications, so I have to tell them. So that's a large group of my families. But what if, I do love the newsletter idea. What if it was a newsletter was sent from the school directly to the parents once whatever has been determined, instead of through Parent Square? Just an idea as a kind of side. It's still direct communication, but directly from the school.
That's a great
If I
idea.
may, the only problem with that is that none of our current email services that we have allow us to send more than 500 emails at a time, which is why we use Parent Square for a lot of the survey links and things that go out, is because Parent Square, I can send up to 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 notifications and not have any problem. If we send any emails over 500 for our email services, they actually come back as spam. So I don't know if you remember, Adam, 2 years ago when we were trying to send all those emails and we had to send them over 5 days trying to send them out because the links wouldn't go out because Google shut us down saying we were spamming emails.
How about we have the condensed newsletters that do go out through Parent Square without being too frequent. And then we send it out via email to PLTs and say, this is going out through Parent Square. If you have parents who have unsubscribed to Parent Square, please forward this email to them.
I think that's a great idea, Trisha. A lot of my families, they don't even, honestly, it sounds that bad, but they don't open emails unless it's directly from me. So I think that if we use the PLTs for that, I think that would be so much better. The other thing too is sometimes some of my families, when I ask them if they've gotten an email from the school about something, it always ends up in their junk mail. It doesn't go to their primary mail, whereas my emails do go to the primary mail. So that might be something else to think about.
We're talking about a communication structure that's going to be effective and actually reach everybody, and that will allow. A little while ago, we were also talking about how to make sure that like parents are asked for things and that their feedback is sort of responded to. Does that sort of cover that missing piece of the goal language itself? I've added up in here in bold. Now it would say something like, GLC will increase opportunities for parent engagement and strengthening connections, including developing two-way communication forums that will improve inclusive administrative decision. Does that get us across the finish line in terms of filling in that space? And then the actions included would be about newsletter, support for Parent Square, the other items that you guys have talked about.
I like it. I think it's broad enough because honestly, like we are over the last couple of years, we are increasing, you know, slowly our parent engagement. So over this year, you know, the parent seminars, like tons of feedback and where parents are at, right? And so you can list out all the different pieces that we're doing to engage the parents. So I don't know if that.
And I did want to. The host muted me. I must have made something upset.
I think I accidentally muted you. I was trying to mute myself. Sorry. Okay, I'll mute.
That's funny. So I wanted to point out, just take a minute and tell you guys, I mean, this is what's in the LCAP already. The actions in this goal are this advisory council is one of the actions, doing the satisfaction survey, maintaining the GLC parent website, doing the parent seminars, providing support to parents on the issue of standards tracking specifically, and providing support to parents specifically on students with special needs. That is the list of action items that are in the 21-22. Actually, no, that's less than the list of what's in the 21-22. That's the current list that's rolling over to the 22-23. So if we're going to be adding anything, it's going to be added on top of those things. So we can do Parent Square support and training for parents, and develop communication strategies and plans and use these available tools, including newsletters, to increase that connection.
Adam, in the wording, you know how it says including developing two-way communication forums that will improve inclusive administration. Can you just like make it even simpler so that it's so obvious what the goal is for parents, like that they feel like, oh, that's me, I'm a parent, I'm included. Can we say like including developing two-way communication forums that will include parents in administrative decision-making?
Yes. And hearing no objections, I would go for that, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think that just makes it simple, obvious, like, hey, look, that's a goal of Garmin.
That's what we're trying to say, right? Like that's
Yes, it's what you're trying to say. I just think it's even more direct, saying it even more direct. And yeah, regarding the, I think someone, maybe Tisha put this in the chat, I don't know, but like at least our resource center has like a monthly newsletter for the families that go to the resource center, all about the important information for the resource center for that month. So yeah, I think having one for overall for Gorman with all the departments, the important information, the contact information in case we want to know more or we have more questions, and just putting that all into a monthly newsletter. And I really think putting it on Parent Square directly is the best way to go.
awesome.
Should the goal, I'm just thinking, will include parents in administrative decision-making? Should it say that it will include parent feedback or?
Oh, that's fine too. Yeah, we'll include.
I'm just trying to figure out, like, when you say, because you know, like, there's some things too. I don't know.
Which is better, input, feedback, parent perspectives.
I think that's fine too, because it's not like you want to say parents all of a sudden get to decide everything. I mean, that's not true either, you know? So yeah, that will include parent input. I think that's fine too.
Okay. Did we do it? Did we make it? Are we in the square?
It's 5:28. 5:28.
Do we have, Denise, do we have another advisory council meeting on our calendar already? And if not, can I ask for?
Well, we'll be calendaring it as soon as we reach item 11.
Okay, well then I'm done with my item. So here's, let me make that clear. There we go. Stop share.
Thank you. Okay, next very good. Next, we're going to talk about items for the next meeting. Items for the next meeting, will you be
Review and
bringing
approval of the LCAPs.
approval? Okay. Approval and of LCAP. So Tamara, anything on your end?
Well, we weren't having a meeting, but what I could do is, if we do get back together, then I could give like an update on testing and participation if you want me to, or you could even include that in your update. But if you want me to, I can come back and give an update on that.
Okay.
I'm fine
Or
with that.
maybe Adam needs more all the time.
Probably.
I'll just take all the time.
He needs the whole time. I don't have anything that I planned. I plan to send an update anyways to everybody
Okay.
next week. So I'm
So I
good.
think unless something comes up, then Adam, you're gonna have the whole hour or so for the next meeting. Now, Kim, did we already have a meeting that was confirmed, or do we need to confirm a meeting?
I do not have in my calendar a confirmed meeting.
Let me just throw out there, we want to stick to Tuesday, right? Let me throw out there the June 14th or June 21st.
Does it have to come back though, right, Adam? Don't you have to take the LCAP to the June 9th meeting?
So I have to take the LCAP for public presentation.
Yeah, June
board.
9th.
So what I want to make sure happens is that the advisory council members have received the LCAP before I'm publicly presenting it to the board. So
You would need June 7th.
so that, I mean, there's no reason, you guys are members of the advisory council, there's no reason you can't also participate in that board meeting, the public presentation of the LCAP. I want to make sure that you've gotten it from me before that. So we could do the 14th. I think the 21st would be too late. I mean, it might not be too late. I would still be getting you the LCAP like 2 weeks ahead of the meeting. My deadline would remain the same. I want to get you guys the LCAP, and then it's ready for the public presentation. And then after the board's meeting where they approve the LCAP and the budget for the two schools is too late, because it's inappropriate for the advisory council's vote not to be taken, and then the board of directors to take their vote. So I want to make sure that part's in order.
So the two board meetings in June are the 9th and the 23rd.
Mhm.
So on the 9th, you're gonna present the LCAP for just review and open session, public session. And then on the 23rd, it'll need to be approved.
Correct.
So would you want to have the advisory council meeting before the 9th, before you take it to the board for their review?
I mean, for me, that would be preferable. Because it sort of makes sense to have our discussion and our approval, this piece of it done. So that I'm not at the board going, well, the advisory council still needs to weigh on this, but trust me, it's done,
That's 3 weeks. That's only 3 weeks. So, is there anybody who cannot make the 7th? Tuesday, the 7th at 4? Okay, so looks like everybody's good on that. Okay, so we will have our next meeting June 7th at 4. And make sure we let Kim know. Let Kim know so she'll be here.
I will email everyone.
Otherwise, you're gonna get me again running the meeting, which I'll probably be better the second time around. All righty, guys, let's see. Oh, before we adjourn, Trisha, I wanted you to tell me about your background. And this is a Green Act meeting, so I can do this.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so earlier in the year when this council was talking about testing, lots of people gave suggestions on how we could help the students. And so the Tamara and the testing team put out a packet to all the students, and including like scratch paper, a sharpened pencil with a good eraser, and these encouraging notes. And it was, I just want to say thank you for that. Blake, I will say he had this one that's showing right now. I go at my own pace and I will succeed. We believe in you. With love, GLC and staff. Blake had that one sitting next to him at his desk the entire time he did state testing. And not only that, while he's been more recently doing the iReady testing, he puts this next to him on his desk. It kind of chokes me up because it's so sweet. Just these things that you guys do as administrators and this council, all the ideas that you had, it really makes a world of difference to the students. So I just wanted to say on behalf of Blake and myself, thank you so much for that.
Oh, thank you. That's great to hear.
I want to give, because like AV has the most amazing flyers going out all the time. So we're talking about putting together the envelopes. I reached out to Jamie at AVRC because she makes really creative. And so she did the 2 flyers. So I just want to give props to Jamie for being creative. She put this together, and she came up with like the little sayings and everything. So I want to thank her for doing that because she's super.
Yeah.
And I don't have time to be creative. I was like, help, we need help with this. And I wish we could talk about the whole thing about getting the envelopes out. And Adam knows.
No, maybe
Adam knows
time
the
we'll talk about
story.
that.
Oh my goodness.
But it was very nice.
It was good. It was good that we got those envelopes out, right? So
Yeah.
I'm glad
Yes,
you guys liked it.
Yes, we received it. Blake loved it. It meant a lot to him. And we will thank Jamie also. So thank you for letting us know.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you all for coming today. And with that, I will adjourn the meeting, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your